Okie dokie.
Not that Dave could ever not send a link.
All right.
Double clicking the mouse.
That should be good.
Look hot.
You look hot. I look this way.
You look adorable. I'm like trying to figure out what like 80s rocker I look like. Like I feel like a little bit of like Garth from Wayne's World. Do we
All right,
want
just do the link in the Facebook chat.
Okay.
Live with Trash Pandas.
Wait, okay. Hold on.
Let me know when you're ready, girls. Like and introduce us to everybody.
Okay, hold on. One second.
It's always an endeavor.
No, I'm sorry.
Technology is amazing until it isn't. That's how that works.
Right? Everybody that's joining in.
Hey, could have been worse. At least you didn't lose power today.
Oh, did you lose power today?
No, but I know a lot of people that did.
Well, you know what? It wouldn't matter because I don't have AC in my house. So.
What are you, Amish?
Yeah, I feel like I am. I feel like maybe I am.
Lauren,
in real life. Breaking Amish with Lauren Walker.
Breaking Amish. Talking about 90 Day Breaking Amish.
Oh.
Okay, I'm having an issue.
Again, hi people that are logging on and saying hi. We're figuring stuff out. We'll be starting shortly here. Gotta say hi to everybody, you know. Danielle, she did my hair. She's fucking amazing. Love you. Lindsay, you still working on that?
Almost done. 2 seconds.
Halfway through the show.
Shut up. Okay, I got it. I'm good. Go ahead,
Are you
Lauren.
ready to go?
I'm ready.
You are good to go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another fun episode, our third episode, actually, of Trash Pandas. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Lindsay.
And we are going to be guiding you through the most amazing reality, trashy, garbage TV and trending. And, you know, Lindsay, what'd you do this week? How was your Memorial Day weekend?
Okay, so first, everyone, I got bangs. So that was a big life change. They're always like, don't cut your own bangs. And I was like, yeah.
Just kidding, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to try it.
At least it worked out for you.
Thank you. So that's new. So if you see me playing with my hair, it's probably because I'm playing with my new bangs. An offer was accepted on a house that I'm trying to buy. So my offer was accepted. So
hey,
that is super exciting.
Cheers to that.
Yay, cheers.
Yay. Cheers, everyone cheers.
Yay. So
that's amazing.
I'm super excited about that. That bangs and the house consumed most of my energy this week. However, I was able to devote a little time to trashy TV and started tuning into Smothered.
I love that show.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, TLC has this show. It's called Smothered. And it's about mother-daughter relationships where the mom is like way too involved, like no boundaries, and like it's adult mother-daughter relationship,
right? Like these girls are like well into their 20s or 30s
or 40s. Yeah. And it is what's the word I'm looking for? It is scary. It is just
weird.
It is the oddest thing I've ever seen. But
Okay, give an example of some of the things that you see on there.
oh my God, it's like watching a train wreck. Like you cannot look away. You're just like, oh, did I just see that? Like, oh, okay. So they just started a new season for those of you who are interested, and one mother-daughter relationship. The mom wakes the 21-year-old daughter up every day by like licking her and kissing her. So she's like a puppy, like a puppy. And then once she's awake and she's like dressed for the day, then they chase each other around.
This is like an everyday occurrence for them.
Every day, every single day. They chase each other around their like little house, and it's like this fun game, and the daughter chases the mom around the house. And then once she like tackles her, then they like do like puppy snuggles, and she's like they're like 21 and like 50 years old, and it's like, what the hell am I seeing right now?
I know I saw an ad for one where one of the girls was like, oh, when my mom bathes me, I feel like comfortable and I feel like loved. And they like cut to the woman and her mom and
in
like,
the shower together,
and she's like washing her back. You can tell that they're naked. It's like, what are you doing?
Seriously, some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen on television. Yeah, that's one. The mother and daughter, they take a shower together every day. And the mom suds up the daughter and then washes her, shampoos her hair and everything. And they were like, we've been doing this since she was 5 years old. And I'm like,
weird. That's weird.
Boundaries. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I just don't. And here's the thing, if they had like functional normal relationships outside of all this weirdness, then whatever, do you. But none of them do. They're all like emotionally stunted. Like, it's wow, it's a lot. So I watched that. So if you guys are interested in that train wreck, we can talk about it.
Just I'm down to watch some Smothered. In fact, while we have people watching right now, let's let them know that if you guys want us to watch a certain show, or if there's a show that you love, or a documentary that you love, or any kind of trending, trash, true crime, we don't care what it is. If there's something
let us know.
We should watch, we will watch it. Seriously.
Yes, for sure.
I love to watch something new, especially something that like I wouldn't normally watch. Like, I'm totally down for that. So if you guys have anything, leave a comment. We'll get through them and we will start watching some stuff.
Yeah, like I love trash TV, but I generally draw the line at like weird family relationships, like toddlers and tiaras, or like something like that. Like that just doesn't really interest me. That's just not the type of trash that I like, because I find it like borderline abusive and like really weird. And so I don't normally, like, Smothered is not something that I would normally watch, but I was up North Michigan and it happened to come on after 90 Day, and I was just like glued to the screen, like, are these people real? Or did TLC pay these people a great sum of money? Because holy crap, this is weird.
My friend Brittany commented saying Tiger King, and Brittany, just so you know, I have watched Tiger King, and Lindsay has watched Tiger King too. And if you guys want, we will do an episode about Tiger King, but that was also a train wreck.
We could totally do Tiger King. The only thing that I feel about Tiger King has been like so discussed and talked about at this point. Like
the amount of memes that came out of that.
Like I am pretty sure that I generated most of the gossip on the internet about Tiger King just through my reposting of the memes constantly.
Oh, yeah. They're all so good.
I was all over it.
I actually, like, the one thing I didn't really like about Tiger King is that, you know, obviously they're not taking care of these animals properly. And, you know, like, I'm all about, you know, proper care of animals and like all that stuff.
I mean, that was the hardest yeah, I mean, that was super hard to watch. Like, yes, let's get aside all of the hillbilly weird shit that Joe, whatever his name was, but like, the end of the day, you're euthanizing tigers and you're keeping them in super small cages. You're hardly feeding them. Like, that part in the documentary where, remember when he sold his chimpanzees and when they finally got out of their cages, they like hugged each other and they embraced each other because they had been like missing that affection. I was bawling. Like,
Same.
I'm like, I cannot watch this animal abuse. Like, yes, he is a train wreck of a human being to watch and all of that, but I hope what everyone took away from this is don't visit those little private shitty zoos because they're doing horrible things to animals.
Yeah.
Horrible things to animals. So in a way, like, it's like good that that was brought to light because I feel like a lot of people that visited those little private zoos had no idea like the animals were treated that horribly.
Yeah.
You know?
And they're, they're being bred in captivity and stuff. And as soon as they get to a certain age, it's like they're
cremated. They're euthanizing. Yeah, they're euthanizing cremated.
It's so terrible.
It's horrific. Like, it's absolutely horrific. And I think Joe is exactly where he needs to be. I think Doc Antle needs to also be in federal prison.
Agreed.
Yeah,
for his little cult he's got going too.
Right,
a little harem of women.
All of those shady MFs, like, bye. You need to be gone. But and then
the most relatable thing about the entire thing was when he said, "I'll never financially recover from this," and I seriously went online and bought a sticker that goes over your credit card, so that way when I present it to people, it's literally Tiger King that's saying, "I'll never financially recover from this."
I mean, that was one of the greatest lines of the documentary.
It was just like pretty much 2020, like in a nutshell.
I mean, single tear, but also hilarious. And then like Carol Baskin, like, sorry, we just got started on a
totally sidetracked, but here we go.
Tangent, but here we go. Carol Baskin, and she's not some savior that her followers think she is, or that she tries to portray herself to be. Like, I think both of them are wrong for
Absolutely.
their own.
All three of them are wrong.
For their own reason.
All four of them are wrong.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Absolutely not. So
I'm gonna unwind from that and go straight into the mess that is 90 Day.
Yes,
Beyond.
please do. Let's do it.
For the 90 days. All right, girl, start us off. Let us know what you thought.
Okay, so let's just talk about Jeff and Varya.
They're the most interesting part of the entire thing at this point. I feel like we can just wrap up this entire episode or this entire season right the fuck now. How there's another episode, I couldn't even tell you.
My mind is baffled that TLC is trying to stretch this out for a whole nother episode. Like, let's move on. But yeah, you're right. Like, Jeff and Varya, like, it's like, okay. But here's my thing with them. Is that I feel like all of this was the producers.
Sure. There's got to be some of it that's totally scripted.
I almost feel like at this point that Varya is like a paid actress. Like, I just her showing up at the door, and then the fight that ensues between her and Mary over Jeff, and she's just a little too aggressive. Like, she's like,
okay, Jeff is standing there the entire time, grinning ear to ear. He is so happy that this entire thing is happening.
Yeah. And I just feel like that Varya is like, she's calling Mary the B word, and she's like, "Oh, did you forget your panties in there?" Like, she's just like over the top aggressive for showing up to a man that he hasn't been answering your messages.
Yeah. And
at all.
Said that. You never said that you're coming, and she was like, "You haven't responded to me in 3 weeks." And it's like,
Well,
If the
apparently it
dude's
was
not
actually
responding to
like a
you.
3-month spread of time. Like apparently
Right.
it wasn't even 3 weeks. Like apparently it was much longer. So she just seems like over the top aggressive and like, I want to feel sorry for Mary, but at the same time, I know Jeff, or we all know Jeff's past and what he's been accused of doing. And so so for me, it's like she's just being manipulated by the abuser, who's Jeff, and she's just taking his side and believing whatever bullshit he has to say. And I'm just over it. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But it is the only storyline TLC really has left. I mean, maybe David and Lana, but I mean, I'm just like, how are we gonna stretch this into a whole nother week?
Right. And that's the other thing too, is that they end up going bowling or whatever with their friends, right?
No,
Or
they just go to a regular bar.
They go to like a bar. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
That's David that goes bowling.
Yeah.
But they go to like a bar or something. And he is almost like being insulting towards Varia during the entire thing, but also like walking in holding her hand, like walking in with his hand on her back. And it seems like maybe they're back together. And then the entire thing goes on and he's just like, oh yeah, she just showed up at my house. Oh yeah, she doesn't have a hotel, by the way. Oh yeah, like all this stuff.
This was all just thrown on me.
Right. And it's like, dude,
I'm
I feel bad
I'm
for
like,
you
dude,
anymore.
you had like, okay, if you really didn't want her there and you really had true intentions towards Mary, what you should have done was thrown Varia out and said, I've moved on. Sorry, you can't stay here. Sorry, you gotta go. I'm with Mary. But he didn't do
He
that.
lets Mary leave. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, you didn't even stop her. You didn't say anything.
No. So he's a scumbag. He wants more airtime. Whether or not the producer set this up or not, he wants more airtime. Did you know that he was like an actor on like a bunch of like murder reenactment shows?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he's been in several like, okay, so you know how the ID channel always does like these murder reenactments?
Yeah.
He's been in like several of those episodes across different series. So I'm like, is this like a plot to like get you more airtime? Is this a plot to like, you know what I mean?
Are you
like,
trying to like,
right,
get more time with like your other job kind of thing? Like,
right. Like obviously the dude likes TV. And so is he just like dramatizing this for like more viewership or whatever? So I'm over him. Varia basically wants to jump right back into the relationship. And she's like, how could you have proposed to me 3 months ago and just moved on so quickly? And he's
right.
And he kind of is like, well, I didn't answer any of your messages and I wasn't talking to you. So isn't that enough of a hint like to move on?
But why can't you just say to her?
Right. Like, no, dude, if you were an adult, you would just say to her, this is over with. I've moved on. So she doesn't show up at your door 3 months later.
Exactly.
I don't know. So yeah, anyways, Varia just wants to basically like jump right back into the relationship.
I am interested to see like what happens next week when they go over all of that, but I feel like everyone else is kind of like their story is wrapped up. Like a lot of people are back in America now. At this point in the show.
No, totally.
Like Stephanie and Erica, and there's a few other people that it's just like
they're so boring.
Yeah, I'm like so ready for them to just move on to the reunion show so we can get done with that and start 90 Day Fiance the other way, which I'm super excited about.
Which is like my favorite 90 Day.
Same. And there are some returning people that I love, like Jihoon. I love Jihoon.
Okay, I love Jihoon, but
I hate Devin.
We'll talk more about that when that.
Yeah, we will. And I also know that Laura and Sumit are coming back.
Oh, I love Sumit. Jenny and Sumit. Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see that pan out, because like
I
they had
love
such a
them because I feel like their love is so pure.
I know.
Okay.
They had such a rocky, like, ending. So it's like, I really
Yes.
want to see what happens.
Okay, so let's talk about Lana and David. They're the next couple that were shown. I wrote awkward.
The entire thing about that is awkward. He hugs her and her arm is just like down at her side. She's not trying to like touch him. She's not trying to kiss him. She is like, but then he's like pushing for her to come back to his hotel like immediately. And I'm just like, bro, you need to calm that the fuck down. Like,
So, okay, also like they only communicate via the translator app, which I just think is like so bizarre. Like, how can you pick up on each other's sarcasm? How can you pick up on each other's like flirty like attitude when all you're doing is translating through a Google app? Like that's
right.
like, how are you having like real intimate conversations without knowing each other?
You know who else did that though was Paul and Karini, and Karini ended up learning a lot of English, and so it kind of worked out. But it's like the first thing that David says to Lana is, okay, well, you're gonna have to take lots of English classes, or I'll get you all the English classes you want. And it's like, well, why aren't you trying to learn any of her language? Like,
right. And okay, and okay, sidebar. He's been trying to date Ukrainian women for over a decade. Well over a decade.
Yeah.
So why have you not tried to learn much of her language? All I know is that he says that, and that means yes. Like,
yeah.
Honestly, like I picked up that from watching 90 Day. Like, dude, what have you been doing to try to learn about her culture?
Right. You want to come to her place that she lives at and then like tell her like, oh yeah, you're just going to come with me where I go. And that's not fair. Like,
right.
I mean, but she wants to come to America. She says it multiple times.
He does say that multiple times, and that's like a huge red flag to me. Producers also asked her how much money he has sent to her, and she asked if they can skip that question. She doesn't want to talk about how much money has actually been sent to her. So that's kind of shady. The whole affection issue is super cringeworthy. She knows that he wants more affection, but you can just tell she doesn't feel comfortable. She doesn't want to give it yet. It's really awkward. They go bowling together and he kind of like makes a bet like, ooh, if I get a strike, I'll kiss you. And I'm like, that is so awkward. You just
My favorite part about that entire thing is that he like says to her like, oh yeah, I used to be a professional bowler, and it's like the first thing they show is him getting a gutter ball.
I know. So Spencer and I were watching this together and he was like, that dude used to be a professional bowler. And I was like, well, he looks
so funny.
Washed up like a professional bowler. And he was like, he can't get a strike. Like, is that something you just like forget how to do, is forget how to bowl? Like,
I mean, I don't know. I've never been a professional bowler or a bowler in general. I usually have my nails done, so I'm just like not a bowler in general. But it's like whenever I like see somebody who used to be a professional bowler, it's like you don't just like forget how to bowl. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that you just forget that.
No, Spencer and I are on a league together, and Spencer's actually like a really good bowler. And he had not bowled in like years before we joined our league. And as soon as we joined our league, he was getting like 250, 240. Like, just like he didn't just lose
destroying you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. No, yeah, absolutely. Destroying our league. But yeah, no, I just thought that was like super awkward. And just like, I don't know, like don't make bets for affection. Like just let her decide on when the affection is okay. Like,
yeah, agreed.
It doesn't have to be like blackmailed or like.
Are you pouring box wine right now?
I'm pouring box wine. I'm sorry.
That bitch.
I'm sorry.
I'm pouring box wine.
I'm sorry.
Good box wine though, at least. Yes.
Yes, girl. Okay, so let's not talk about them anymore because they're freaking boring. All right,
really quickly. my friend Jamila said she is actually a professional bowler, and she said can confirm you don't forget how to bowl. So there you go. Now we have a professional bowler that literally is telling us that's not a thing.
And TLC was just showing like gutter ball, 1 pin, 2 pins.
So
like awful.
But the spoiler alert for that is that during that 10-hour thing I watched of the reunion, they said, oh, you got 1 strike. And he was like, oh, I got 3. And I was like, how many games did you play? I watched like at least 20 rounds.
Right. Right. And Lana was like laughing at him the whole time. Like she was like, nope. I'm like, dude, what?
Hilarious.
Okay, so let's talk about Steph and Erica. This is going to be really short because
we're going to power through the rest of them.
All that we really see is Stephanie going home to America. Her mom picks her up. She talks about the fact that she's like not going to, or like feels uncomfortable about telling her mom about her sexuality. She fake cries at the airport. She couldn't produce a single tear.
I was just about to say, I did not see a single tear fall out of that girl's eye.
Honestly, honestly, after knowing that she's like a YouTube like influencer, whatever the F that means, but like, I just really think this was all set up to like get her on camera. Did you see like she was on Judge Judy?
No, I didn't see that.
Like way back when she had like these awful long blonde extensions, and she was like on an episode of Judge Judy with her ex-boyfriend. I honestly think that she's just camera hungry. I don't think this was like on her part. I don't think this was a genuine thing. On Erica's part, I think it
was. Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
I just don't think that Stephanie is a very genuine human being. And I'm not saying that because she won't come out to her mom. I mean, like everyone's going to come out on their own time and that's up to you to decide. And I totally appreciate that. But just the way that she like picked fights, her lack of emotion at the airport, her just everything was just like, I don't think this is real. And honestly, like, here's my thing that I kept thinking of. Okay, so your mom's going to pick you up from the airport. You're not going to tell her that you were there to see your girlfriend. Right. However, you're on a reality TV show that's going to air that your mom is going to see.
That's what I kept thinking too.
So apparently, come out. Apparently you're okay with coming out because your mom's going to see all this on TLC. Like, what? I don't know. Right. It just feels like really insincere and like really.
I think the entire thing felt insincere from beginning to end on Stephanie's part. I feel like she kind of just like came there to see Erica, and like, I don't know if I can't confirm whether or not she's ever dated a girl before or anything like that. But she, from the very get-go, was very awkward, very standoffish. She didn't really want to like have any kind of, like touching, any kind of, like actual.
No, I mean, they had that like one makeout scene, but that was about it.
Right. And then, like the whole, okay, so as far as her coming out to her mom and that 10-hour thing that I watched, she did say something along the lines of Erica coming out to her mom and then me coming out to my mom. So we might actually see her coming out to her mom, but if we don't see it on there, she does insinuate that she did. So okay. I'm not sure if, like, I can't confirm that. I'll look it up. We'll figure it out for next time. But I know that she did make some kind of comment where I was like, oh, she did? She came out to her mom? Like, it was very.
And like I said, like, coming out to your family is very private and like it's on your own time schedule, and I don't.
Sure, I understand if you don't want to do it on TV.
Right, I totally understand if you don't want to do it on TV. However, you signed up for a reality show where this is all going to be broadcast on TV. So how were you going to keep that a secret?
Right, exactly. Well,
I don't know. It just felt weird. It's just weird to me.
Nothing about that relationship seemed very genuine. I was
No.
rooting for them at the very beginning. I really was, because I thought that, oh, cool, you know, these two girls really like each other. It's gonna be
First
great.
ever gay couple on
Exactly.
90 Day, which was awesome.
And then actually, speaking of which, we're gonna have a gay couple
I
on
know.
90 Day Fiance
I'm
the
so
other
excited.
way, and I'm very excited to see that.
I'm so excited because they actually look like a genuine couple.
Yeah,
Like,
they seem like they
yeah.
legit are in love.
yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Usman and
Baby girl Lisa,
baby girl Lisa.
Baby- BGL.
Okay, so we left with them fighting over that woman on
Text messages,
Usman.
Facebook messages.
Yeah, Facebook messages, and apparently they got over it. Now they're fighting over the fact that she never got a proposal.
The day before their wedding, they're fighting about this, by the way.
It's always some kind of ultimatum. Always he did something wrong. Always. It's gross. It's just gross. And so she gives them an ultimatum and she's like, I've conformed to your culture and you've done nothing to conform to mine. Which, okay, that's actually a fair argument. But
Totally.
it's just gross because you're always fighting. You're always telling him he does something wrong. He's always doing something wrong. He can never do anything right.
Yeah, there's never a point in time where he is just like not being completely blasted by this woman.
Right. And so he proposes after the fight and it was just gross. It was directly after the fight. Like they
in the hotel lobby, like, or in the hallway.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
directly after that, she comes out of the bathroom and he's on one knee with a ring.
She basically is like, it's everything I wanted it to be. And I was like, you wanted to be proposed to in a hotel hallway?
After a huge fight that you just had with your
where you basically forced him to ask you to marry him?
Right. Like, she's just full of ultimatums and like
all the time.
She's awful. Anyways,
I'm over them. I'm done with them. I want to move on from them. Like,
I know, but real quick, okay, so the rest of the episode, so Usman's family arrives because they're actually getting married the next day. So his brothers show up, his mom shows up, and they go to dinner with her brothers, and she brings up at dinner the fact that they've been having problems. And I'm immediately like, girl, you don't do that. Like, you don't tell the family
we're having issues.
We're having problems.
And tomorrow we're getting married. And already you guys are having problems with me marrying your son.
Right.
I'm a 55-year-old woman and he's like 28.
But as soon as she brings it up, Usman is like pissed off, but then he just unleashes.
Well, he says, we don't talk about this right now.
Right.
And then she's like, no, we're talking about it right now.
Right.
And sure as shit, he's like, fine, let's talk about it.
Right. He's like, fuck this. We're going to talk about all of it then.
And it's like, if I was her family, I'd be like, or his family, I'd be like, no, get the fuck out of here.
No, leave.
No, you don't share that shit. There's no reason to do that. Fuck
okay.
You.
So Usman unleashes about her controlling behavior, and Usman's brothers are having none of it. They're like, look, like Nigerian culture.
That's the way it is.
This is the way it is. You can't be controlling him all the time. And like, even in American culture, like her behavior is considered very controlling. Like, I understand there's a different like cultural set of like what's appropriate and what's not. And I understand like in Nigerian culture, like, okay, women are more expected to like take the man's lead, and that's whatever, that's our culture, that's fine.
That's fine.
But even by American standards, she is super controlling. Like super controlling.
Right.
So her brothers are basically just like, Usman's brothers are just basically like, no, Like, this is not how it rolls. This is not how we operate. Like, whatever. And she gets super pissed off. She slams her fists on the table. She takes off her scarf, and she's having none of it.
Disrespectful, by the way, and taking off your scarf.
Yeah, right. Like,
Super disrespectful.
right. Super disrespectful. And she yells and she storms off. And will they have a wedding? Who knows? Who cares, TLC?
Yeah, we don't give a
They're
shit
so
anymore.
not likable.
Move
Can we get
on.
some likable couples here, please?
I know, I felt like this season was very like devoid
Ugh.
of people that I was like interested in seeing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, I'm just
So-
over it. All right, so let's do the last two really, really quick because there's not much to say. So Avery and Ash, they make plans for their future. Basically, Avery's like, I realize that you're not going to be with me in a year because Taj needs to grow up.
She's saying at least
and-
5 years.
Right. So they're looking like further down the line, but it seems like they're going to commit to each other at this point. They both seem to like be on the same page. So she just leaves, and it could take up for a year to him even get like a visa to visit the United States. So
Right.
that's where we're left off with them. I don't know. Do you have anything more to say about them?
I don't really have much to say about them, but my friend Jason just said, as far as Lisa and Usman goes, he said, hopefully the goat is doing well. And I completely agree with that.
Oh, Jason. Oh, poor sweet baby Jason. You know that goat was slaughtered.
Totally slaughtered, but it's all right. Hopefully that goat is doing well. Maybe give it a couple of years of some goat's milk first and then
Poor
led straight to
fucking
slaughter.
goat. All right. So anything about Avery and Ash? Or are we good?
I don't really have much to say about them. I'm over them. I'm over everybody. But
I mean, they didn't really like, I mean, their scenes were very short. She was heading home, and they basically, like, what we were left thinking is that they're gonna continue their relationship.
right. And
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to do spoilers and stuff, but I totally know how many people are together and who is not
Wait,
together.
not yet. Hold on.
Okay, so I will not
Hold
say
on.
it, but I'm just gonna say right now that there is so much that happens, and I can't wait for that day.
Okay, so last couple, not even a couple anymore, Big Ed. So Big Ed returns home to San Diego. His mom, who is the sweetest baby angel. Oh my God, his mom is so cute. Shows up to pick him up at the airport with his dog Teddy. Okay,
Which is a cute puppy.
I hate Big Ed, but I love Teddy and I love his mom so much.
So true.
So he talks about how he screwed up things again. I screwed up everything again. Everybody feels sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for you, Big Ed. Quit
No.
asking women to shave their legs. Quit asking for STI tests. Quit asking women to brush their teeth. Oh
My
my
friend
God.
said Teddy's the real MVP, which is so true.
Dude, Teddy
with
and
that.
his mom. I'm sorry, his mom
His
is
mom.
so cute. His mom is so cute. Anyways, he's hoping Rose is gonna talk to him again, and blah 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 blah. blah. That's about it. Honestly, that's about it. With Big
Yeah,
Ed.
I'm over 90 Day Fiance until they get to the reunion. I'll still watch next week. We'll still comment on it next week, but it seems like everything is kind of like coming to a wrap up. I thought for sure we were going to wrap up this week, but
How did we not wrap up this week? Like TLC.
we severely underestimated how many episodes were inside. I mean, I've seen every season.
Me too.
And I was like, by the way things are going, we're wrapping it up right now. So I didn't even check what episode we were at because I was like,
just,
oh, we're about to be done.
I just don't even understand how they're gonna stretch us out even more because half the people are already back in the United States. So what are you gonna do?
That's true.
Like, but I saw like a clip from next week, and Big Ed is like talking to his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we
Actually,
care about at this point? I don't
Jason
know.
said again, bang people that are older than your daughter to Big Ed. And I completely agree with that
Dude,
too.
right? Yes,
Maybe.
cheers. Yes, Jason.
We all cheers to that. Yes, Faye, yes.
Yes.
Love you.
Agree.
Fellow trash panda.
1000%. 1000%. Maybe your daughter won't have an issue with it then. I don't know.
We actually worked together, and every time that I was at work with him, we would just sit there and talk about the newest 90 Day Fiance. So I know that he's right on top of it. You know, fellow trash pandas, we love you all.
We love all of you trashies.
All of you.
I'm going to start calling you all trashies. Is that okay?
Just trashies? Yeah. Are you a trashy? I'm trashy.
I'm a trashy. Okay.
Where's trashy at?
So we promised that we were going to talk about Dead to Me season 2.
A lot. There's a lot that happened.
There's so much that happens.
It's like one of the only shows where I feel like every episode I'm like, what?
I know, but you know what's odd is that, okay, so when we first decided to do Dead to Me, and we were like, okay, let's do the first 2 episodes. Those first 2 episodes, there wasn't much to talk about because it was all like build up.
Yeah.
To
everything happened the 3rd episode on.
Yes. So after that, I mean, there was so much that happened. So I mean, let's just start. Like, okay, so the whole murder cover up of Steve between Jen and Judy that brought them back together, basically, which I love. I love their relationship. It's so cute and amazing, and I love them. But then after that, like, okay, my whole problem with it was like, okay, so then all of a sudden Jen and Judy are like sociopaths.
Yeah.
Because they can just cover up a murder and move on with the fact. And I understand it's Hollywood. I get it. It's a show.
Sure.
But just for like, right. But just like for show fuck's sakes, let's just talk about like the fact that I was like appalled. Like, I don't know, just how do you just like go about your regular life after you just like killed a dude?
Exactly.
And then he's in your and then we find out you're keeping him in your freezer in your garage.
A deep freezer, which is like okay, the entire thing, like that's like the most like iconic like way to like put I've heard of so many things where people are like, oh, put the body in the deep freezer. And I'm just like, for
dude,
real?
like it's so gangster. And then like the rats, the whole thing with the rats like start like chewing through the freezer to get to the body.
And I actually wondered, I was like, is that true? The whole thing, like rats can smell blood from like miles away.
I'm sure they can. Did you hear that rats are becoming way more aggressive in this pandemic because there's like less restaurant food waste?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No,
they're
that's
becoming
terrible.
Yeah, the CDC just like issued this thing about how rats are becoming like
I live in Ferndale and we are
super aggressive.
Run with rats. I'm pretty sure there's more rats than residents. I'm almost positive. So you know what? I would not think that that's a lie at all. I see them all the time. I can like literally be driving like through like the restaurant district right downtown. And they're not even scared of you. Like I'll be like taking the trash out from the bar I work at and I have to go to the trash compactor and the rat will just like look over at you and then just be like
give you the middle finger.
Eating. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, just keeps on eating, like doesn't even care. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like this rat is just sitting there. What is that?
So, okay, so that was like a huge thing. And then they decide to like take Steve's body out into the woods and like bury him or whatever. And the whole time I'm just like thinking like, how do these 2 suburban chicks just like play it cool? Like, I know it's Hollywood. I get it.
It's so
but
clever though. Like the entire show is really clever and it's like
it's very clever.
Okay, so there was one scene where Judy is sitting next to the freezer and she says something about Steve, who is now in the freezer, right? And she goes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's just the way he is. And it reminded me, and I went back actually into like season 1 to like look back at it. And she has this weird relationship with Steve where like they'll like insult each other and immediately apologize to each other. And he's very receptive to it. And he apologizes too. Like she'll be like, there was like one part where like he grabs her arm and she's like, ouch. And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. And she's like, it's okay. And then, you know, they have like this weird kind of like, for some reason, he's almost like he's really sensitive too. And she's really sensitive, which we already know. But he comes across as being like this total jerk or, you know, I mean, whatever. And he is like very receptive to her being like, oh, that hurts, or oh, don't call me that, or don't say that to me. And he's always like, oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
she
but also
doesn't-
like, sorry to interrupt, but like
Yeah.
also like one of the huge things that we saw through this was that like Judy is a victim of abuse all around in her life, like
Right.
from her mother to Steve, and then we even see Jen like
Jen is
verbally
abusive towards her
abusing
too, right?
her. And so I think that is that's part of it, is like them being like, we hurt you, and then being like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
But she even
you
apologizes to
hurt her.
Steve when he's dead. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He still
Yeah.
is like, oh, I'm sorry. And you can just see that there's like this meekness within her where she's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
I have to apologize, or I have to be the one that's sorry. And
Yeah.
it's very, very weird. And I'm kind of interested to see what role that plays, because it's very obvious. Like, I mean, it's subtle, but it's also very obvious, where you're like, there's got to be some sort of something that goes with that. Like, there's a
Yeah.
reason why they are that way.
Yeah.
So
So a new character pops up in this season, which was Ben, who is Steve's identical twin brother, who I love.
I love him
I
too.
love him so
He's such a
much.
dork. He's so like nerdy.
Such a dork. I love him. He's so cute, but it obviously complicates things because like him and Jen start a relationship, they fall in love, or I don't know.
In like,
I don't know if I call it in love, but yeah,
we'll
in
call it in
like,
like.
yeah. They fall in like, and so that really complicates things. And then Jen's going to end up selling Ben and Steve's mother's house for like a huge commission.
Yeah.
So that's like a super interesting relationship. I love Ben. I think he's such a cute addition to the show.
I do too.
But the way that the season wrapped up, holy shit.
Okay, so go ahead and say it. How
Okay.
it wraps up.
So he runs into Jen and Judy at an intersection and he's wasted. And they're both really hurt. And he just like takes off. Like he
does a hit and run, just like what
he
happened.
does a hit and run just like his brother did.
Yeah. And it's very interesting that they went that way. I was not expecting that.
I was
took
not
me
either.
Completely off guard.
So don't you think this has to lead to a season 3? Like
It has to lead to a season 3. It has not been confirmed yet.
No,
but if it doesn't lead to a season 3, I will fucking write a letter. I'll write a very strongly worded letter and tell them they better fucking wrap it up. Because
I will write a letter of complaint.
And I think that the show in general is very well written. I think that it's just the right amount of being like interesting and weird and quirky and funny, but it's also like keeps you on your toes. It's very, like when you're watching it, every single turn you're like, I did not see that coming.
I mean, I laugh all the time. And
all
I'm
the
like,
time.
I shouldn't be laughing, but
I feel bad laughing almost. Like,
it's
oh my
hilarious.
God.
Like it's that dark,
Crazy.
sick, twisted humor. It's so funny. Like Nick, who's Judy's ex-boyfriend, who's the cop, who like knows like
that she hit.
Yeah. Like knows like she's the one that hit him. His whole interaction with like the chief of police. He has like a Slurpee, and he's like, the whole time he's talking, he's like,
He's so
yeah,
nonchalant.
yeah.
He's like, oh, does this person still work for you? Yeah. Okay, why would I go back there then? No.
It's so funny. Like I love like the cute little interactions between them
He
all.
even has an interaction with Judy at one point that is a little bit questionable, where he's just like, drive safe.
Yeah.
And it's very weird. And Judy has a new love interest.
Oh yeah, Jessica. I love
Jessica.
her.
And I love her too.
She was on she's an actress. She was on Parks and Rec. She dated Tom on Parks and Rec for like a season. And I love her.
She meets Judy because the nursing home that Judy works at, she brings her mom there. And her mom is very like stubborn, hard-headed, and hard to deal with. And so Judy kind of like tries to break the ice.
Yeah.
Make everything feel better for her, make her more comfortable. And eventually they kind of like build a friendship. And I actually really like their relationship. They end up building relationship into like being girlfriends, or at least hooking up or something at one point.
Yeah.
And she goes to her house and she stays the night there, and we find out that the detective that
is her
ex-girlfriend who currently lives with her. And it's very weird watching like their dynamic too, because it also kind of changes. And like Jen has another interaction with her as well that is also like, okay, like she's starting to like be cool, or she's being like whatever. She's very standoffish with Judy, but very cool with Jen.
Yeah.
And that's weird because she knows that Jen and Judy are like best friends.
Well, okay, so what I could not get over was the fact that Jen actually confessed. Like, so she goes at the end and she actually confesses her crime. She's like, I killed Steve, and this is how I did it, and this is where his body is buried. And the detective, who's Detective Perez, she goes out and she actually sees like, okay, where he was buried and everything. And they get back in the car and like they have like this moment where they realize like both of their moms had died at like a young age, and
they bond with each other.
Right. They actually have like this huge bonding moment, and Detective Perez is like, we're never talking about this to anybody.
Which was so weird to me, because it's like she was so willing to like.
It's so fictional, like, and awful.
Well, yeah,
absolutely. And, like, I get it. Like,
all
okay,
I'm saying is that
I get it. I'm watching a TV show. I understand it's gonna be fiction. But I'm just like, really? Like, she's just gonna give it up all because she's been this massive BITC.
But the other part about that, Lindsay, was that she got that phone call saying that, oh, we got the guy. So she was like, I see an out for this woman who is obviously very clearly hurting, and is obviously very clearly like, she's like, I have my sons and I made sure that they're okay. And she leaves them in the care and she writes notes for them. So it's like, with all of this stuff that's happening, I can see where, I mean, not in real life, but obviously in a TV show, I can see where she would be like, if we have the idea that we have the guy, then let's just move on from this woman who was wronged in their own right by the same person.
Right.
As well as, ended up killing this guy and fucking burying him somewhere. Yes, that would never happen in real life. They would never be like, okay, that's fine, whatever. I mean, I won't say never because I've seen some documentaries, but I will say that it's very unlikely.
Also, wait, hold on. One little side note. Judy's mom, who is in prison, is Peggy Bundy.
Yes. Katie Seagal. I love her. I love her so fucking
I was like,
I love her. And you know what? Because they chose Katie Seagal or Kate Seagal, Kate Seagal, whoever. Because they chose her, I was like, she's gonna have a much bigger part in the next.
Yes.
And that bitch. I love you, Peggy Bundy. I
Dude,
love you. You so
I
good.
fucking love Peggy Bundy. And I
amazing.
love Kelly Bundy. I love
Kelly Bundy,
both of
exactly.
them.
It's like, I love that they made that little connection there.
Yes, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, Christina Applegate called in a favor.
Exactly.
Like, I was so happy.
Exactly. I was
It
like,
was
this
so
bitch called
awesome.
all of her friends going like, hey mama,
Yes.
come have a fucking
Yes.
conversation with us
That was
on our show.
That was fucking awesome. Like when I saw that, I was like, holy shit.
I love Katie Seagal. I think she is so amazing. And
yes.
like I said, if they are going to have someone that big,
it's got to continue, right?
It's got to continue. Yeah. And she's got to have a part in that at some point. So I'm very
got to get a season 3.
The entire thing is like, got me on the edge of my seat. I know. Wait another year.
I know. And Steve, or sorry, not Steve, but Ben just like takes off. It's like, we have to figure out what's going to happen with them.
I can't wait.
I'm
very excited to see the ending of that.
Me too.
So we're about to be wrapping up right now. I just want to reiterate to our people that are watching, please come back every week, Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Come chat with us. We read your comments. We see them all. We can't respond to everybody all the time. But if there is a show that you want us to watch, whether it's trashy or trending, or if it's a documentary, whatever the fuck it is, we want to watch it. Tell us the stuff.
I would love to hear about it. I'm always looking for something good to watch. So please tell us like what you're into.
Check us out on Facebook. Let us know.
Yeah. Yes, follow us on Facebook, Trash Pandas, one word.
And we have a little surprise that we're going to post on our Facebook tonight. So keep an eye out for that. We have a really good surprise for you guys. We're super excited.
Time. Yeah.
Hey, I had a really good episode with you, Lynn. So
I know. I love you.
I love you so much.
I love your space buns.
Thanks, Boo. Okay, we will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night.
Bye.